This week on the Race Report, we'll see more action from the Wade Decker Memorial at Thunder Mountain Speedway, and we begin our conversation with third-generation driver Rusty Smith. All that and more on this edition of the Race Report. Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of the Race Report. I'm Ron Hills. Oxford, New York is home to one of New York's most successful racing families, starting with Gordy Smith, a top runner at Midstate and 5 Mile Point Speedways, his son Gordy, a champion in street stocks and modifieds at the original Shangri-La Speedway, and now Rusty, who has found success on both dirt and pavement. Rusty sat down with Race Report correspondent Leon Andrus.
Well, we're fortunate to be down here at Brothers 2 Restaurant for the Race Report. Have Rusty Smith, the driver of the number 34 asphalt and dirt modified in the southern tier and wherever else he may wander. So Rusty, let me start out with telling the folks out there basically what got you started in racing.
Well, when you're born into a family that races every day of their life, I think that's kind of where I fell. And at the age of 6, when I got my opportunity to race my first go-kart, just knew this is what I wanted to do as well. And here I am, some 32 years later, still playing the sport.
And we're certainly happy of that. Now, basically, most of your career was all spent on the asphalt. I am correct there, right?
Yeah, when I was 15, I had a Ford Pinto that I raced at Afton a few times, and then I got the opportunity to run street stock later that season at the original Shangri-La, Tioga Speedway. And I drove that one race, and that was enough for me. That dirt car couldn't get a for sale sign on it fast enough. And then I ran the street stocks, and then the following year I ran Sportsman. Then for 2 years I ran Sportsman, and then I went into the modifieds when I was 18. And here 20 years later, I'm 38 now, and the modifieds are still by far my favorite thing to race, an asphalt modified.
So how successful were you in racing to this point on the asphalt?
Well, I was fortunate at 16 to win a street stock championship, and that was amongst 20-some guys. And then in the modifieds, 7 years later, we won our first modified track championship at the original Shangri-La. And then when that closed, we started bouncing around a little bit. We struggled to find a home, and for a couple of years we ran down a mountain speedway, and we won a track championship down there, which went really well. And then that was in 2008, and then in 2012, 13, and 14, we won 3 consecutive at Spencer Speedway up in Rochester. So, and in between those years, we were fortunate. We've won a lot of races in between, winning 5 track championships in the modified division.
So it's been very successful. Have you actually kept track of your number of wins total?
At one time, I had a number on it, but I don't know what it is anymore. Getting away from it the last few years and being kind of on and off, I think I've kind of lost track. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to figure it out, but it's got to be around 60, I would imagine. That's between the SK or Sportsman, we call them, and our open modified. A few years back, 7 or 8 years ago, all the local tracks that run the full-blown modifieds did away with them, and they started running the 2-barrel cars, which we call Sportsman. It didn't really ruin the level of competition because everybody that owned a modified just bought a different engine and put it in the car. Now we all have the 2-barrel cars, so the competition stayed the same. So we're still very proud to call all them modifieds because they don't race them weekly anywhere in New York.
Right. So that evolved. Obviously, I've been fortunate enough to watch him at I-88. You went to a dirt Sportsman, got some experience in that, fortunate to get a couple wins there. I know you traveled a few other places, and in the past couple of years you've been with the modifieds, fortunate enough to get that
Yeah.
big win there, and I'm sure that was a big lift off your shoulders. You were getting better and better each week, and you finally got that.
Yeah, by far, the dirt thing quickly was, I had 4 asphalt modifieds, and I was traveling too far. I wanted to do something closer to home for my guys, my family, and my guys' family that are on my team, and my sponsors too. And we bought that first car and put it together, and we went right out with success, and we won the second time out, won the fourth time out. And then we kind of went asphalt racing. We didn't race it for 3 months after those first 4 races. But then we came back and jumped around a little bit at the end of the season. We didn't win, but we ran really well. So then we decided the following year, is get the Sportsman motor out. Let's put a modified motor in it, which we did that. We only ran like 6 races, but we ran pretty decent in a couple of those, including the 100 lapper at 5 Mile Point at the end of the year. We finished 4th in that, and that was a pretty big deal. So then the following year, we dabbled a little bit more, and with not much success. And then that's when we decided, let's go at this full speed. Let's commit to running at Afton Friday nights instead of Rochester. We proved what we were trying to prove up there, is that we can beat the best in the asphalt modified weekly competition, which the best in New York State we felt was at Spencer Speedway, with the names that are up there weekly, with the Catalanos and the Leedys, the Lewises, Kevin Timmerman, Bill Hebing at the time. I mean, there were some great competitors up there, and we went up there and beat them. So we felt that Afton would be our next venture. And last year we really struggled. We didn't run very well. We didn't run anywhere near as good as we had hoped. And then this season we made a chassis change from a Bicknell to a TO, and gosh, that changed our whole program this year. We came out of the box. We had a couple rough runs and had some mechanical failures with this new car. But you can see when we hit stride, and once we got it all figured out, we've been really fast ever since.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, the folks, you haven't had a chance to see the Rusty run on the dirt or the asphalt. That's something you certainly has to do. A very talented driver, without a doubt. Now, this year, you basically, or I would say not this year, in the past couple of years, you got your son basically in the racing for like a 3rd generation now.
Yeah, it was kind of a dream weekend. It would have been a couple weeks ago. We raced at I-88. We had twin features. We had a make-up feature, and we broke a rocker arm in that, which that was with a small block. And then we got the big block out on a track where you're not really supposed to be competitive with a big block, and we ran to a very competitive 3rd place finish. And I still swear that day, 5 more laps and we would have been in victory lane. So then we went the following day. We took our asphalt car that I drive for Greg Frucci. We went to Wyoming County, and we won a 100 lapper there to top off my racing. And then we went the following day on Sunday to Oswego County Quarter Midget Club up in Fulton, and my boy went up in his first time ever racing in a quarter midget, and he won his division that day. So I mean, that was a great weekend. We look forward to doing many more of those in the future. But yeah,
without
the
a
Smith
doubt.
name is not over by any means in the next 10 years.
Right. I mean, that's certainly a family. It's great to be a family sport. I know your father comes weekly, and speaking of your father, did you ever have the opportunity to run with your father?
I raced one year my first year in a Sportsman at the original Shangri-La, and he beat me more than not. I did win a race that year, and he actually finished second to me, which was cool. But after that, he went into the modified division, and I stayed back in Sportsman, and then he got out of the modified. He ran 1 year in the modifieds at Shangri-La, and then he won the championship in '96, and then he literally walked away. And my first race in a modified was in his car up at the 200, the very first 200 that was held at Oswego back in 1996. And since then, he hasn't raced at all.
Right. Well, and like I said, but I'm sure the joy he gets is watching you and you in victory lane, same as your joy. It's got to be a big joy for you to have your son in victory lane.
It is cool. It's a whole different day. It's a lot more relaxing when you're the crew chief, per se, rather than the driver, owner, and the crew chief, which is what I feel like I am at the racetrack. But we have days like we did at Oswego on Saturday for the 200 this year, which was just this past weekend, and we struggled so bad. And I said to my dad, I go, these are the days when I wish that I was hung up and watching my boy do it, because he could have the stress that we're having today. Because when things aren't going good, it amps up and it really eats at you, because we play the sport so hard and we put everything we have into it. But I can't wait to watch him evolve and to keep moving forward. We're going to hit some indoor quarter midget races this winter. There's several of those throughout a few states that we can potentially go to if we choose. And he's already in the computer. He's already eligible to go to those after just the one race that we ran. So we're looking forward to going and supporting him and doing some racing this winter.
Well, that's great. And like I said, that's what it's basically all about. And the family's all together, all in with it, so it makes a good outing for the family.
Modified action from Thunder Mountain Speedway when the race report returns.
You're watching the Race Report on Fox 40.
Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City has the best pricing and selection of audio, video, and computer cables in the area. Don't spend a fortune on that HDMI cable for your new HD TV or Blu-ray player. Unicorn Electronics has quality cables in the lengths you need at a price you can afford. Expanding your network, Unicorn has the patch cables and accessories to make it happen. When you need to connect, think Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City.
98.1 The Hawk, number 1 for 20 in a row.
This is Jason Aldean.
Hot new country.
This is Luke Brown.
And kiss tomorrow goodbye.
This is Charles,
Dave,
and Hillary.
and we are
Lady Annabella.
And I don't know why you don't take me downtown anymore.
Binghamton's Hot New Country.
This is Carrie Underwood.
Every tear soaked whiskey memory blown away.
Binghamton's Hot New Country. 98.1 The Hawk.
30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyer's program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Welcome back to the Race Report. This week we have time for expanded coverage of the Wade Decker Memorial Modified Race at Thunder Mountain Speedway, so we send it now to Leon Andrus and Brett Deo.
Green is out. 50 laps to distance. Hang on. Buckhetti with the early advantage. They go 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. They stay. Hang on. We got 2 of them together. Tommy Meyer and Eric Rudolph. We're back to green. No laps in the books. Buckhetti grabbing that early advantage. Green right there second. Alan Barker third. Hanson right there fourth. Down on the inside. Hanson looking to get by Barker. Anthony Perego back there in position number 6. Darwin Green a little bit out of shape. Nick Beatty way up on the outside in that 77 machine as they go 3 wide out of turn 4 towards the back of the pack. Look at this battle up front. Second in the points, Andy Buckhetti. 2016 track champion at Thunder Mountain. Danny Creedon, I-88 Speedway track champion, Andy Buckhetti in a regular brouhaha up front. Then it's Alan Barker, Craig Hansen, Anthony Perego, Mike Mahaney, Steve Babachek, Corey Costa, Mike Rickey now getting in the thick of things. Lab traffic going to be coming up in a hurry for your leaders. Three wide out of turn number 4 there towards the back of the pack as they'll be working hard. The top 2 trying to run away at high, but Lamp Traffic coming up in a hurry. But Kenny and Creedon, they're ready to close in on the first and third in points. Mike Ricky bobbled Darwin Green, giving him a shot. Caution gonna have to come out as Ricky up on the high side of turn number 2. Three wide headed, hang on. Mike Mahaney, Creedon, hang on. We got Nick Nye around. We got a couple more around. We're gonna have a caution is what we're gonna have. Out of the turn, they come. Green is back out. Creedon on the inside, but Kenny right there second. Got all kinds of battle behind him. Chad Cook getting into Nick Nye. Corey Costa right there. A lot of cars battling for position. Rudolph and Tommy Meyer trying to make their way back up through the pack. Nick Meady a little bit into the outside wall. Gets it corrected though. Creedon now wants to run away and hide that 16 machine. Matt DiLorenzo, Byron Worthing, Jeremy Smith, Tommy Meyer, they're all right tight together there towards the back of the pack. Alan Barker running third, Borrego fourth now, Hanson fifth, Mahaney is sixth, Corey Costa seventh, Nick Meady slowing, he's going to go pit side with the 77X machine. Tonkin been working on the Jordy Decker 38, lap after lap, trying to get by. DiLorenzo went to the top side now. Rusty Smith also right there in that mix. Tonkin finally going to go to the outside of Jordy Decker. Tommy Meyer making chase with the 3 along with Dan 14K. Green into lap traffic now. There's the chance for McKenny to try to close back in. Rusty Smith a little bit out of shape. We got cars all the way around the speedway now. Creedon into some heavy lap traffic. 3 and 4 wide here. As Green continues to motor on the inside, gets into the point leader. We got Chad Cook slow on the front straightaway. Caution coming out here. Creedon, Bucchetti, Alan Barker right there. Borrego, hang on, we got Corey Costa around. Look at Borrego now. Hang on, Ricky coming out in front of your leaders. Oh, let him out. Wow. You kidding me? Hang on, Corey Costa getting a piece of that outside wall. Ricky trying to stay on the same lap now. If it came out in the back of the pack, you'd still be on the same lap. Now Matt DiLorenzo working the wrong way, going backwards now. Here comes Tommy Meyer back up. He's challenging the 20 of Roshinsky. He's worked himself back up to a 9th place run right now. There goes Mike Decker to the infield. We got one slow and Chad Cook on the backstretch. That's going to bring out another yellow. That's his second. Hang on, Tommy Meyer and Nick Rashinsky. Matt DiLorenzo. Mike Clapperton. They're all right tight together. Hansen trying to come back underneath the 55 of Borrego. Working that inside line. Got a good beat out of turn number 4 that time. Caution on the speedway. Mike Rickey coming to a stop up in turn 4. That's at least 2 for him, if not 3. Rusty Smith trying to get into the mix now. Clapperton, Tonkin working on the extreme bottom of the speedway. But Kenny now, he might have been laying back, keeping a little tighter for the end of this race. He looks like he's ready to put on a charge, but bobbled going into the turn, lost some ground. Danny Green, your leader. McKetty second. Barker third. Hansen fourth. Borrego and Mahaney battling for 5 and 6. Tommy Meyer right there is 7th. 8th is Ryan Jordan. 9th. And 10th is Corey Costa and Nick Rashinsky. Hang on. Contact. Rusty Smith and Corey Costa got together. Smith going around. Rudolph almost got caught up in there. Hang on down on the inside, Alan Barker and Hansen. Here comes Mahaney now with a late race charge. Down on the inside, Corey Costa putting the wood to somebody. Tommy Meyer, Matt DiLorenzo, Tonkin back up into the mix now. Anthony Borrego in trouble. The 55 caution coming out. Here they come again. Green back out. Green back on the accelerator. Rashinsky on the outside of Tommy Meyer. Matt DiLorenzo, Darwin Green way up the speedway. 3 laps remain here. Caution on the speedway. Steve Babachek up on the outside. Right rear flat on the Eric Rudolph car. We'll be going caution here again, about 2 seconds. He's going to go right up to the high side. Going to bring out a caution. And he's back out. McKetty trying to make a bid on the outside. Alan Barker going to take a bid to the bottom. Matt DiLorenzo and Nick Rashinsky, they have a little contact. Parallel sticks are out. Tonkin hanging back a little bit. Doesn't want to get near skirmish there. One more time around. the MJ8 Oil Field Wade Decker Memorial. Out of turn 4 to 50 lap feature, gonna go to the Thunder Mountain track champion, Danny Creedon, Andy Becchetti, Alan Barker, Mike Mahaney, Craig Hansen, Tommy Meyer, Corey Costa, Nick Rashitsky, Matt DiLorenzo, Brett Tonkin, Brian Malcolm, Darwin Green, Mike Clapperton, and then we'll leave the last 5 to the scorers so they have to work for their pay.
"30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyers program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
For 3 generations, we've been building world-class American performance.
Like the new Edelbrock Power Package Top-End Kit, based on Edelbrock's powerful RPM crate engines. Each kit includes aluminum heads and intake, cam and lifters, gaskets, and hardware to build your own 400-plus horsepower Chevy small block. For 3 generations, it's pure American performance from the leader. Call now for your free Edelbrock catalog.
Edelbrock makes them right here in the USA.
98.1 The Hawk, number 1 for 20 in a row.
This is Jason Aldean.
Hot New Country.
This is Luke Brown. And kiss tomorrow goodbye.
This is Charles, Dave,
and Hillary.
And we are
Lady Annabella. And I don't know why you don't take me downtown anymore.
Binghamton's Hot New Country.
This is Carrie Underwood. Every tear soaked whiskey memory blown away.
Binghamton's Hot New Country. 98.1 The Hawk.
Welcome back to the Race Report. A reminder that the memorial gathering for Steve Diffendorf is Sunday from noon till 4 p.m. at the Kirkwood Fire Station on Main Street in Kirkwood. Champion Speedway in Owego wraps up their 2016 season with the Kelly Moran Memorial Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Please join us for racing trivia Monday night at Brothers 2 Restaurant on Watson Boulevard in Endwell. This week's bonus answer is the Batmobile. For all of us here at the Race Report, thanks for watching. Until next week, I'm Ron Hills, and I'll see you at the races.
Tonkin hanging back a little bit, doesn't want to get near skirmish there. One more time around. The MJ8 Oil Field Wade Decker Memorial. Out of turn 4 to 50 lap feature, gonna go to the Thunder Mountain track champion, Danny Creedon, Andy Becchetti, Alan Barker, Mike Mahaney, Craig Hansen, Tommy Meyer, Corey Costa, Nick Rashitsky, Matt DiLorenzo, Brett Tonkin, Brian Malcolm, Darwin Green, Mike Clapperton, and then we'll leave the last 5 to the scorers so they have to work for their pay.